All right, so I'll do a quick tour of the interface and then get into a few different playing examples, but I'll put links in the description below if you want to look at the history of how this plugin came to be, and then a couple of the samples from the Softube website as well. So quickly, Softube created this with Tony Platt, who worked with AC/DC on Highway to Hell, and I think Back in Black as well. And he also worked with Iron Maiden and Cheap Trick and a bunch of other bands. So they tried to create this plugin based on getting a pristine Super Lead 1959 model, same microphones, same studio and everything when they tried to create this. So your typical settings here, typical what you would see on this actual amp. You've got your volume control for inputs 1 and volume control for inputs 2, and you can do some neat patch selection here. So the way the inputs are split is input 1 are both of these inputs are brighter inputs. The second inputs are darker, and then the row at the top is high gain and the row at the bottom is low gain. So if I wanted to start with low gain bright input 1, you click it once, you click it again, and it's going to patch these other two together. Click it again, it's going to do the other combination. Click it again, and it's going to get rid of it. So you can do that with each of these inputs, and that gives you some more flexibility and customization with the sound. As far as the options in the channel strip here, it's collapsible, but it's pretty simple. You've got your EQ main outs, so going counterclockwise on low is a cut, and going clockwise to the right is a shelf reduction. So both of these are reductions, and then to the left is cut, to the right is shelf, and then for the high EQ, it is a shelf reduction as well. And then main outputs, this is just obviously the main output of the plug. So when you get into the microphone selection, I'll put those up on the screen as I'm going through them. You can turn them off, so you'll just get the sound coming out of the head, and then you can switch to dynamic or FET or valve depending on the sound that you want. And then for each of the microphones, you get your controls down here at the bottom. So this plugin is mono, and it can do mono to stereo. So you could have, two different microphones pan left and right with obviously different volume levels for each, plus your actual room mic as well. So it's pretty simple and straightforward. Let's listen to a few more samples. Okay, so I'm going to isolate just one of the guitars, and this was recorded with my PRS SE Student Edition guitar, and I wanted kind of a gritty, twangy kind of sound, but not heavy distortion. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play the loop of this part, and then I'm going to switch between soloing the individual microphones and then switching between the three options here, and then switching some of the doing some of the patch selection here, so you can just hear how different it is, and then I'll get into what it sounds like in a full mix. So I have it running in mono mode right now. So if I switch this to stereo and I pan the mics, so using the same patch, same microphone, same everything, but I have the 57 panned left and the E609 panned to the right. So usually I will run this in mono mode because most of the songs I work on have two guitar parts, and I usually do your typical pan one guitar hard left, pan one guitar hard right. So I typically run it in mono, and then obviously none of the panning matters. So now let's go over to the FET microphones. Yowza. Okay, so now I'll just keep it on dynamic and I'll switch between the different input types so you can hear those. So I love the way this thing sounds. I think I've said that a million times. And I've got the presence off. I have the volume relatively low and just some basic EQ here. So now just to wrap up, I'm going to turn on what mixing I've done for the song so far. So I have this running through. I'll turn on my channel strips. So here's what it could sound like in a mix. I'm running the guitar through the Waves NLS channel through console. And then I'm running it through a compressor. And in the case of the right guitar, I'm also running it through a noise gate because I want just a very clean sounding guitar. So cutting out all the noise. But you can see here on both of the guitars here, no processing whatsoever. And I'm setting it out to a reverb, but I don't have those enabled for this test. On the summing track, I've got it rolling through the NLS bus compressor as well. And then I'm using the SSL stereo bus compressor on here. And I'm also using the Softube saturation. So I'm not doing any additional EQ on this guitar, on either of these guitars at all. So let's just have a listen to this in its entirety. All right, so what I'm going to do to close off this video is just quickly go through some of the presets so you can just see the versatility of this plugin as well. So if you're still watching, thanks for sticking around this long. I'm going to turn all the processing off. So the only thing I had running on that on the stereo outs is just a little master bus compressor to kind of glue everything together. But this song is maybe 85% done. I need to re-record the banjo, but nothing is really mixed at all. I just put some basic presets on the drums for now, but like I said, man, this sim freaking sounds incredible to my ears. So let's just listen to one guitar soloed, and I'll go through some of the presets. Actually, let me save this one first before I actually forget. So, what the hell is this song? Country tune 3, left guitar. All right. right, so let me know what you thought about this plugin in the comments below. It is pretty expensive. 149 bucks is a lot, considering you can get STL tones, which is a pretty good amp sim, very, very cheap. The Bias FX stuff, I think it's 150 bucks for their Elite plugin, and then you get a gazillion amp heads and all the pedals and effects and stuff. So I guess it really depends on your style. Like I said, I play more rock, country rock type of stuff, so I'm not using a lot of pedals, and any effects I always do in post-processing anyway when I'm in the kind of final production and final mixing and mastering stages as well. So like I said about 10 billion times, I freaking love this amp sim. I think it is the best sounding amp sim out there. At least for my ears, and I haven't tried all 5,000 of them that are out there, but I think it sounds great. I think it's well worth the money, and so much so that I might actually upgrade to their Amp Room product, which has, from memory, 6 or 7 different amp heads in it, because I really do think it sounds awesome. So leave a comment below, let me know what you thought, and this particular song is going to be out on April 1st, so I'm writing, recording, mixing, producing, mastering, doing a video and everything every month, a new song every month for my solo country project for a variety of reasons. So this one will be out on April 1st, and there's links to the previous ones below if you want to check those out. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe, and have a great weekend. Stay safe wherever it is you are, and I'll stop this longest wrap up ever. See you on the next one.